We are Steve and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steve and Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about buying land with emotion and how it's a fast track to failure. Jill and I talked about this a little bit on Monday, but we're going to bring it home now. You know, if you cannot be emotional about this. You can't see something that in these deals that's not there just because you want to be successful financially.
Or because the seller tells you there's something great there.
You got to look at the facts, just the cold facts. And then when when you doubt it, you need to reprice it so that we'll get into the details in a minute here. But if you have any doubts, you need to reprice it so all your doubts are gone. Right. And if you're finding that you're not looking at enough deals, you're choosing these deals that you're questioning, you just got to send out more mail. There's a real easy fix for all this stuff.
That's
true. And I'll tell you in a minute here. I'll tell you. The reason we're doing this show. We've done this topic a few times. I'll tell you. I was a victim of this in the beginning. I hated where I worked so much, and wanted a side gig to become a permanent. I wanted to be a permanent real estate investor that I funded. That was my childhood dream, honestly. And it worked. So I was seeing things that weren't there. I wanted to do these deals and get the thing launched so bad.
I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that.
So I'll talk about it. Before we get into it, though, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Do you know what just happened there for a second? I was going to say, though, it sounds like truth time. Remember?
Yeah, it was truth time.
It was cute. I did about a week and a half ago, I did a live on Facebook. That was a good one, too. It was a case study about a couple of deals and doing level 1 due diligence. Anyway, it was cute. Somebody put in the remarks, whatever I said, she's like, truth time. I'm like, yep, that's what that was. So we'll cover truth time again in a minute here. All right. So this isn't you, is it?
No.
Okay. A different Stephen wrote this question. I have one phone number.
If I wrote a faux question, the name would be like
Bert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ernest.
Okay. Terminator. Let's see. I have one phone number that I use for my offer letters for all areas that I mail. And the area code is obviously not local to people receiving the letter. What is your opinion on having a local phone number for each area you mail that all ring to one main number when called? My only concern with that strategy is the phone number will not match my mailing address, which I'd like to keep the same forever. Thanks. Okay, wait, I have to think about this. So it's not, I have one phone number and it's not local, but you
live in California, you're mailing Missouri.
Right.
You have a California address, you're going to go get a Missouri phone number, they don't match.
He's going to keep the same Missouri phone number and the California address forever? That's
what he's asking.
Oh, I don't necessarily like that.
What do you do?
Okay, here's what I do. Forever, we had an Arizona address and a Scottsdale address and a Scottsdale phone number. And we still have them. That's still the main stuff. However, I have tested and liked the outcome adding Northern California phone number and address when I'm mailing that area, and another state, I'll just say Tennessee, one for mailing parts there. Now here's the thing. I'm now exploring other parts. I'm kind of done with that. I'm exploring other parts of states east. I'm using Tennessee. I'm testing that next. I think it's going to be received well. The only time I've heard it, and you have more experience on this than me, is that when you're mailing, there's parts of the country that may not love Scottsdale or Southern Los Angeles or New York or who knows what it is. It might be, there have been people that have reported, and I'm going to let you weigh in on your experience with that. Go ahead.
Well, I have two things to say. And one of them's a question. So let's say we are mailing Oklahoma or Tennessee or whatever. and we successfully got. Do you get a mailing address there?
Yep.
And you get a phone number?
Yep.
Do you keep those forever?
Yep.
How much does it cost?
Cheap. $20.
For a month?
Oh, yeah.
Forever. Okay.
Yeah.
So
If that.
There's no reason, and the reason you want to keep it
I think
forever
it's
is because
Yeah.
because they will call 5 years from now.
Right.
Because on a letter, and that's so cheap to. It doesn't matter. It's cheap in the scheme of things. My second point is, most of us don't answer our phones now. I guess if you're set up for this, you're going to answer the phone no matter what the caller ID is, because you want to know if it's a seller, a potential seller. There's no circumstance on this planet that I would ever answer a phone call that comes in from a 212 area code, which is New York, Manhattan, New York. And I have a list of phone numbers that I'm not going to go area codes for a lot of reasons that I would never answer ever.
Right.
212 is number one. I think it's packed. I don't know what the other two area codes are that in chronological order from New York, but it shows up that way. Would I answer it from 313, which is where I'm from as a child? I'd pick up every single call that's 313. So yeah, there's a huge issue with people not picking up the phone. And the political, I don't know about you guys, but the political campaigns, the amount of spam hell calls, robocalls that I'm getting on both sides about how to vote and what the issues are, and they figured this out. They bought a bank of numbers probably years ago, or they're renting them or leasing them. I don't know how it works, and I don't want to know. But they, I still have Jill and I both still have Scottsdale numbers in our cell phones, and they figured out how to those zip codes, those area codes. They figured out how to make it look like it's one of your friends.
Mm-hmm. It's true, exactly.
So that said, I
ahead.
do think it's really important to where you're mailing to have an area code from there.
What about regions? Because this is what I'm testing right now.
I think that's not good.
You don't think a region's good? I guess I'll let you know on this next
one. Do
one.
you think the people in Kansas think that people in Missouri are awesome? No, it's always a rivalry. The closer they are together, the worse it is.
Well, then how do you solve it? You have 20 phone numbers you keep forever? Okay.
Yeah, and you can buy a phone number. If you have phone system like we do, you just buy it.
That's true.
You don't lease it, and you roll it in and forward it.
So this way, we poured it into our big phone system. Yeah. So then what's great about that is it's Pantera that we use as the kind of parent company where all the calls are recorded. I can flip flop. I can really easy from my phone. I can make it look like I'm dialing out from whatever number I choose, because it's all ported in. So the call comes in and the call goes out the same. And then I can forward those numbers to whoever I want to answer the phone.
So
it's kind of a big deal.
We have a very diverse group that has a different take on all doing the same thing, buying and selling land.
Right.
And our group is packed full of people who've never left their state. They're a lot. I call them the dusty boots group. Their boots are dusty. They'll only buy properties in Oklahoma. They live in Oklahoma. They love Oklahoma. They know every square inch of it. They know the people at the county level. They get deals done.
That's fine.
And they've had the same phone number. It's probably got a curly cord hanging in their kitchen. And they do deals that way. So you don't have to. Jill and I talk about, we're all over the country. That's just our personality. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. And, I've often said during retirement, I'm going to be one of those people. I'll be one of those guys who goes and drives 2 hours, goes and looks at a piece of property.
Really?
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
This ties into the emotion. There we go. It ties right into the show.
You know what? Let's partly into it.
Okay.
Today's topic, buying land with emotion is a fast track to failure. This is the meat of the show.
Please tell me how you're going to drive to the local town and spend some time with local folk, and how that's going to roll without getting emotional.
I didn't say that it's going to happen.
Okay.
I said it's in the back of my head as a very logical retirement situation for me.
Okay, but seriously, I do want to know real quick before we get to this show, like the topic. What is it that you want to do in retirement? How would this play out?
The retirement thing?
Yeah, this is truth time. We're going to have a family meeting for a moment because something just got dropped on me, and I kind of want to know if you don't mind sharing a little bit about
Jill doesn't know
what you would like to do.
Here's my entire plan.
All right.
At some point, We turn all of this Land Academy thing over to very viable, whatever. Not the land acquisition part, but Land Academy and all that, and it goes on for somehow. That's part number one.
Like 10 or so years from now.
Yeah, way the heck.
Long time from now.
And we take a pile of cash that we've made from buying and selling land, and we go pay cash for something somewhere, liquidate some assets, move some stuff around. And so our cost of living is very low. And then you take a look at the local market. In fact, the local land market is plays into the decision factor about where this might happen, because it's not going to happen in Los Angeles County. I'll tell you that.
This is all new information for me.
This is all goes on in my head.
Oh my gosh.
And okay, if she starts
kind of
yelling at me,
forgets
then
to
we'll have to cut this up.
We're going to have a couple houses is what I hear.
We might.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
And so let's say we do, the planets are aligned, and this all happens. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send out a mailer, and I'm going to look for property that we identify as a logical acquisition candidate, that where we can either just take it and resell it as it is. But in the back of my head, I know that you can subdivide or split property very effectively if you have a relationship with the people at the county and they like you, and you're involved in the local community and all of that. That's how the entitlements and parcel splits really get done effectively, like a good old boys thing. And so I don't have, now your boots are really dusty. I have no problem. It's crazy profitable how much you can make, and it'd be fun. So that's not the emotion that I'm talking about.
Okay. That I understand. That makes sense. I thought there was a whole just because you want to love it and feel it and get to know the community, and I don't know where you were going there.
No.
Okay.
No, what the emotion that I'm talking about is
which
this.
is not a bad thing. I apologize.
The emotion that I'm talking about is, I'll paint a picture. Actually, I'm going to paint my picture 25 years ago. I hate my job. I'm making good money, great money, so I can't walk away. I know that I want to do something else. I have this vision in my head, just like this vision that I described just now. There's this thing I want to do in the future. So rewind 25 years, I've got this vision about buying and selling land. I know it works. I tested it a few times. So I'm going to send out, and back then it wasn't send mail out. It was send faxes out to, if you go read our ebook and stuff, if you don't have anything to do, go read the ebook, the Land Academy ebook, and you'll know our whole history. But I would send faxes out to real estate agents and ask them if they had any super cheap property, because I could get that data back then. Back then, this is like before RealQuest. You couldn't send letters even if you wanted to. Send faxes to real estate agents, say, hey, I'd love to buy all the rural vacant land you have at $500 a lot or less. And it worked, because I was the only one doing it in the entire country. And so I would go buy these properties, and when I'm looking at these deals, they're real estate agents, so they're born negotiators. They'll say, not 500, 600, or whatever, some number. In negotiation, it's not that I'm not good at it, I just can't stand it. And so you start to see, when you get emotional and you want to get out of your job or your relationship, or you want to move forward, or you've got this vision, you start to see things that aren't there. Just like some people who want to get married really bad start to see stuff that, all your friends are saying, that guy's the biggest idiot there ever was. In fact, how much money have you loaned him this month? A mountain of red flags. And you're like, no, it's fine, because he'll
get a job.
Yeah, he'll get it. I just need more time to get in there,
get
into his head.
I know I can fix this.
So I had that with real estate deals. And that's what I talk about emotion. Emotion is going to wreck your career really fast. And I paid for it. I did a couple of deals. It didn't wreck anything, but I'll tell you what it did. Pretty dramatically delayed where I wanted to go. And that's the real tragedy here. It's not that it's probably going to wreck your career or some tragedy is going to happen or any of that. It's just might delay getting there successfully. So there's no place for emotion at all in any of this. Every Thursday, Jill and I have the member call webinar where we review everybody's deals. It's called "Would You Do This Deal?" And we are constantly in there saying, "I love this. I know you have it under contract for $30,000. I love it at $18,000. You can't lose. $30,000 is probably what you should be selling it for, not buying it. You should buy it for 18 and sell it for 30, probably sell it in a week. Take all the stress out of it. Back in the day, I would have gone ahead and paid 30 for it. Because I just want it to happen. You don't seem to have that problem, Jill, and it's the biggest compliment ever.
Thank you.
You never have.
I never did. I always went into this because it was a widget to me. A piece of dirt was a widget. It didn't matter what it was. I never, you taught me, the pictures, you taught me how to post them, and got me rolling there, selling them easily. So all I saw is bank balance.
For the first
and I
10,
was like the greatest thing.
I think you've had, I'm just stating the facts here. You've kind of had me to lean on just to make sure the deal's okay and stuff.
Of course.
In my experience. The first 10 years of this, I was sitting at my kitchen table by myself.
Yeah.
Without ParcelFact, without RealQuest, without any help at all, anyway, and without anyone to bounce this stuff off of.
It's true.
In any way, without partners. So it's like you only do that for so long where it's like, I want to get this thing into second gear.
Well, that's what I was lucky to have you, and I think how people see us now, and they can bounce it off us in our community. And it's not. We've said this a lot. I wish I had me. I wish we had us.
Right.
When I was starting, I had you at least. You had nobody.
And then some stuff's going to go. My second part of the emotion part is stuff always goes sideways. Stuff goes sideways in transactions. And these are about the easiest types of real estate deals you can do. You buy it for cash, you sell it for cash. There's nothing involved. The more expensive this property gets, and the more out of the desert you get, like let's say, the properties that we're getting in now are amazing. Like they're all over the country. They're very diverse. They come with their own set of circumstances, and it's not hard to deconstruct and get through really positively. A big topic right now for us in Land Academy is perk tests and water, and whether or not the thing's buildable. And for whatever reason, that's just a hot topic. Jill and I laugh about it all the time. One guy will perk it, one guy won't. Or there's used to be a well, and there's all these circumstances and stuff. And it's good to know all that, but it's not, in the end, really going to dramatically affect what you resell it for. It's just not. Mm-hmm. And so I understand when you're new, you want to get to the bottom of everything. So when you start to get emotional about these little things that go on, it's only standing in your way. For instance, if a perk test for you is a big deal and the property doesn't perk, then just kill the deal and move on to the next one, and have another cup of coffee and forget it.
You got to bake that cost into your business, though, is the only thing.
Yeah, you can't. The last thing you want to do is get emotional about it and go cry in the corner and say, I did something wrong and I should have known about this perk test, and beat yourself up about it and yell at your spouse or whatever. That's the last thing you want to do. It'll kill your real estate career faster than anything. Just keep moving forward. Just barrel through.
My best tip is, I have one tip, and this is all I have to say on it, and then for me, is the best way to overcome this is be too busy with good deals. You won't have time to get emotional.
Yeah.
If you send out enough mail and you have multiple deals to review every day, then you won't have time to spend 6 hours on this one and 3 days on that one, because you can do that. You can spend that much time being lost in a deal, trying to find the right guy to do a survey and a perk, and waiting for calls from the county, waiting for maps from the county, waiting for this for the county, just to even decide if you want to buy it.
Yeah, like the same exact, and that goes with everything. So you got a buyer, they called, they said they want to buy the property, you haven't heard from them 2 days, you start crying about it. I thought I had it sold. I did something, I didn't qualify that. Forget all that. There's just not a buyer. That's it. Next parcel. That's what I say.
Beautiful. Thank you. Happy you could join us today. Monday through Friday, you can find us right here on the Land Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode on the Land Academy Show is called The Correlation Between the Housing Market and the Land Market. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. All this stuff with housing is happening right now. All I see, and maybe it's because of how I use Google, are announcements about forbearance and which zip codes are foreclosing, and the interest rates are at all-time low, and people are moving out of San Francisco. And I've never seen so much media coverage and actual data being supplied to investors and real estate agents. It's just the industry's on fire in a really good way. So what's the real correlation? And then nothing. Land is crickets. You don't hear anything about land ever. It's always been like that. Land is overlooked by everyone. So what's the correlation or the relationship with that? We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Thank you for tuning in. We hope you found our content valuable, and we really, really do appreciate your support. So if you haven't already done so, please get on over to our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the type of content that you're here for. Hitting the like button on your favorite episodes helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.
We are Steve and Jill.
Information
And inspiration
to buy undervalued property.